What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Gundam Universe Gundam Full Burnern. So this is the next in Wave 8. And we've actually looked at pretty much all of these on here. I just want to bring this in. We're going to be looking at these two here, which are actually really cool. But here's the kind of full lineup. We've actually looked at all of these, with exception to the Unicorn Gundams, which I don't care for. I just don't like the look of them. But otherwise, we've looked at pretty much all of these. So we're now getting these, I guess, deluxe ones, which are a little bit more expensive. They're $40 instead of $25. So we'll be looking at one of those deluxes here. I did look at Sazabi in the last wave, Wave 7, and I hated it. Was not a fan. It was not worth the price point. So we'll see if this one ends up being worth the price point. But let's start out with this guy. He's got some really nice paint on him. You got green on the head crest there, red for the horn, yellow on the sides, green, red, and black paint for the eyes, red paint for the chin, green accents there on the pylons, yellow paint here and here, red here, and then you have some red paint here across the knees. Some nice little plastic details. They're not painted, I don't think, but that does stand out and looks good. And here's the back. So this one has pretty good looking details overall. It does have this extra antenna here. Now it doesn't feel super fragile, but I would be careful. In general, the horns and the antenna can be, a little fragile. So just be careful with those. Now before we get his accessories and his other pieces on, let's go over his articulation. The head is on a ball joint. It rotates all the way around. Goes down to there, up to there. The neck is also on a joint, but it's very hard to get any movement out of the neck. I almost feel like on purpose, they limit the articulation on these things just so they don't outclass some of the more expensive Gundams, like the Robot Spirits. You have a butterfly joint on a ball joint here for the shoulder. The shoulder pad itself is on a ball joint that can go up and down and back and forth. Shoulder can go up to there. Rotate all the way around on that ball. Rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow gives you the full bend. You have rotation at the wrist, and these are on a ball joint. And like I always mention on these, I immediately remove these fisted hands and I install the gripping hands, because what's the point? You want to hold his weapons, right? So pretty much immediately I take those off. These ones are really tight, by the way. Speaking of the wrist, it rotates around and it moves in and out. For the abs, you have a little bit of rotation there. This one's a little bit hindered. You get a little bit back and forth and a little bit of rotation, but not much, just due to the sculpt on this one. It's a little bit hindered. You can kind of push it, but I wouldn't go too far. Hip skirts, just like all of them, they're on these little pegs. If you lift them up off those pegs, you can get a little bit more out of the way. Legs go up to there. Back to there, up to the side, and again, they really don't give you a lot here for movement. Your rotation at the thigh around this joint here on a ball joint, but the top of the thigh also moves, so you get a little bit extra movement there. And it is on a drop-down hinge, so you can drop that down and get that up a little bit more. That's actually smart, because that allows you to not necessarily collide with this hip skirt as much. Double jointed knee, but just due to the sculpt, again, they don't cut it deep enough. They need to cut a little bit more, but not too bad. Ankle tilt forward, backward, and side to side. They do mention instructions that you can break these, so be careful. And don't break these little points at the edges. It doesn't seem fragile or anything, but you just want to be careful. Now for the accessories, you do get the hands I've already shown you here that I've installed. We do get his backpack. So it's just done in this gray plastic. It fits in right here. These boosters don't articulate, but you get these, which attach to the backpack, and these have articulation on them. So if you put those in there, and of course you get two of those. These can articulate up and down and in and out. So that's pretty nice. And they're good looking boosters. So his backpack will just plug in like that. It's a little bit heavy, so I'd recommend putting a little kiki in here just to give it a little bit more tightness. It's a little on the loose side. But there's that look. I think that looks really awesome. I love how these backpack and the boosters look on him. You also get his beam saber. So these handles can actually be mounted in here, which is really nice. I'm glad they did that. On these Gundam Universe, they don't always make a mounting point for the hilts. So that's cool. I'm glad they did that this time. But of course, if you want to use one of them, you can take the actual beam, plug that in. Nice weapon there, and then he can hold that. And that does look good. I have to admit, that looks nice. And you also get his rifle here, somewhat similar to our X78, but it's different. Does this move? No, this doesn't move. You have a little bit of metallic red paint here for the sight. It doesn't move or do anything. It looks like it should, but it doesn't. But it's a nice looking gun overall. And that can go in here. Either hand, of course. And yeah, there you go. Pretty good. Last accessory you get with all of these guys is the little flight stand adapter, which attaches to the Tamashii Stage Act 3. So final recommendations on the Gundam Universe Gundam Full Burnern. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I really like this figure. It is got a lot of cool accessories, and I just like the look of it overall. Now, it has some of the same issues we've had throughout the line, like the hip skirts are on these pegs that just limits our articulation, and they fall off kind of easily. The backpack also isn't all that secure. It needs a little bit more, because it's a lot of weight, right? So you need a little bit more holding that on, but some Kiki will probably fix that up. So I do like this. I think it comes with some really nice accessories. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.